And happy Wednesday, August 2nd, 2023, and welcome to a SummerSlam week edition of what we like to call the Clash of Le Champions. I am your host, the vegan you believe in, Kurt Cadet, aka the heartbeat of America. And this dude right here needs no introduction, but he is going to give you one anyway.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is tag team partner Jonathan Randall, the Adventurer himself. Ladies and gentlemen, the wheels are rolling to Detroit, the Motor City, SummerSlam, baby. And I'm excited. Kurt, I know you're excited with this match card. This match card could be a little bit, it's off and on. It's 50-50, but we're going to break it down for you, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll say this much. I know the build per se to the show hasn't been like the most exciting per se. Specifically last Monday on Raw, got a lot of criticism. But overall, on paper, I have to admit, this card looks mad sexy. And I think with the role WWE's been on with pay-per-views over the last year and a half or so, that this show will be no less good than those other ones were, if not even better.
I believe so too, man. And I even mentioned this on our Twitter. You can follow us on Twitter at the Champs Clash on Twitter, ladies and gentlemen. But as I was saying, I've mentioned about how it's a good chance that this year's SummerSlam could be better than WrestleMania this year. It's a possibility.
And it's going to be in Ford Field, which will mark WWE's return to Ford Field for the first time since WrestleMania 23.
Back in 2007.
Yes, back in 2007. That shit was crazy. That shit was nuts. And I don't think this time we'll be getting a cameo from Trump, but it's all good. I heard he's having a lot of legal trouble right now.
Are you serious? Him and Vince are having legal troubles?
I guess so. But yeah, speaking of Vince's legal trouble, let's get into that real fast. The story just came out today that on July 17th, federal agents served Vince McMahon with a federal grand jury subpoena and also issued a search warrant for him.
Damn. I mean, what exactly are they trying to look for?
Everything, pertaining to the whole scandal that came out last year and all the allegations that came out last year. But as of now, he's not been charged with anything. Yeah, so it looks like this shit is far from over.
Look like it is, though. Look like he hasn't caught a break because you have this, and then, recently, it was like a week ago, he had back surgery, correct?
Yeah, spinal surgery. They said he's at home resting for a while. So, yeah, he'll be, gone from TV for the time being.
Yeah, I see.
But Vince actually sent a response to the WWE employees, and this is what it had to say. In 2022, WWE formed a special committee to review allegations of misconduct against me. That review was concluded in November 2022 following an extensive investigation. Throughout this experience, I have always denied any intentional wrongdoing and continue to do so. I am confident that the government's investigation will be resolved without any findings of wrongdoing. I am focused on completing the recovery process for my recent spinal surgery and on closing our transaction with Endeavor. Denies any wrongdoing, huh?
Right. I don't see any admit to anything in there. I mean, just pointing it out, but I don't know. We're just gonna have to wait and find out and see what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, his lawyers probably told him to say that, and he can't publicly admit any wrongdoing. I get it.
Very obviously.
But when I read that, I'm like, yo, this dude isn't fooling anybody. You watched that video from yesterday that I sent you? That compilation video of all of his past promos and past skits that he used to do, and he was cutting a promo on Heyman talking about how a biker gang was gonna rape the Undertaker's wife.
Yeah, you know what? Look, about that, I'm surprised Vince did not win an Oscar for that performance.
Bro, that shit was insane. I wouldn't give him an Oscar.
I loved it. I thought it was the funniest thing I ever seen because you got to remember the reason why he was reacting to that.
Bro, that shit is just weird. That shit was just fucking weird.
I know it was weird. There's a lot of stuff, Kurt. There's a lot of things, millions of things that Vince has said in his promos that was okay to do during that time. That would not fly in today's age.
Shit was just so fucking weird. I can't call it good or bad, but just listening to that for the first time in 20 years.
I know, but you look back at it and you're just like, damn, I can't believe I mean, they actually said that and got away with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, shit was disturbing to say the very least. But I will say that video I posted yesterday of him dancing to Get Down On It was mad funny.
That was funny. That's how I was yesterday. No, that's literally no. That's how I was yesterday.
Because it rained. Because it rained in
Oh yeah, it
Vegas.
rained. We hardly get rain. It was monsoon season. Thank God. It's hardly we hardly get rain here in Vegas, man. It finally rained, and also there was some thunder and lightning as well.
It never rains on the Las Vegas Strip. It never rains on the Las Vegas Strip.
When was the last time it rained? Has it been raining there in Atlanta?
Yeah, it rains like on and off. It's like looking kind of cloudy outside right now, actually.
Gloomy. Okay, gloomy is good. I like gloomy.
I think the last time it rained was I think it was Friday. Yeah, Friday. I remember after work I wanted to go to the park, but then it like looked like it was about to rain, so I just said fuck it. And then by the time I got home, it got really ugly.
See what you mean?
Yeah, damn bipolar ass weather.
Wait a minute now. No, we were talking about bipolar. It's Vegas. It rains for what? You should know this, man, because you lived here.
6 years.
Yeah, I mean, you would know. It rains for what? 10 minutes, 5 minutes, and it just stops raining out of nowhere. Then the sun comes out. That's bipolar.
Yeah, it's crazy. Even snowed in Vegas one time.
Oh yeah, see, I love that. Yeah,
Well, we'll see what else happens with this Vincent investigation, but
yeah,
maybe this might be a sign that he might step down for good again, and this time permanently.
yeah. Hopefully this time his lawyers will talk some sense into him. Like, look, you need to step down with all this going on right now. So
Yeah, but in any event, let's look forward to something more positive, which is going to be SummerSlam this coming Saturday from Ford Field in Detroit. And we have 8 matches on the card this year. And because of that, unfortunately, certain matches will be left off the show this year.
yeah, unfortunately, two matches that we thought we were gonna get, but it's not on the card, which I'm very disappointed about.
Yes, and those matches being two women's matches, one being Rhea Ripley against Raquel Rodriguez, and the other being Trish Stratus and Becky Lynch, which they've been building on TV for like the last 4 months.
Right, and then you would think that they've been doing a really good job with the build-up, especially with now, and you would hope that the payoff would be one of your biggest events of the year at SummerSlam, and you're not going to have the match on the card, but yet you're going to put a battle royal on there, which doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Yeah, Becky and Trish getting left off the show is very strange because
Yeah.
we were hearing about them like having a feud even before WrestleMania, and this like feud pretty much started like right afterwards, and they've been building for it for months. Even the match they had at Night of Champions, and yeah, you figured it was gonna finally culminate at SummerSlam, but I guess with the card being as stacked as it is this year, that's one of the matches that had to get
It
cut.
just sucks. I mean, I could understand if it's like a match that it's not doesn't not noteworthy though, but this match had good build to it. It built up Trish Stratus, which I was really happy for. But it's just very disappointing to me that they didn't put the match on the card.
Yeah, like Rhea Ripley and Raquel, I could understand cutting from the show
Yeah,
because
look, that's another. You see, I was about to get into that, but I'll go ahead and speak my piece. That is another example where they dropped the ball because let's state the facts. Rhea Ripley has not had a big marquee match since winning the title at WrestleMania. She hasn't. And it's like her title reign seems meaningless now because it's like, okay, the only people she's been, okay, Zelina Vega, Natalie, Natalia. I mean, that's it. This could have been a good opportunity for her to do this with Raquel Rodriguez, who she's feuded with NXT and they did a really good job at it. But since you're on the main roster now, I mean, I just don't know where they're thinking. They're thinking their game plan is at right now. It was a big opportunity loss with this one.
well, the thing is, from what I'm hearing, is that Triple H didn't want to have any more than 8 matches on the show, and unfortunately,
I know
certain matches.
quality over quantity, right?
Yeah, and look at the track record of the pay-per-views we've gotten like over the last year or so. So, in a sense, he knows what he's doing. In that regard, he has it
That is
right.
true. He has the last say, but let's hope that maybe we could get this match on next pay per view. Maybe let's hope. Fingers crossed.
Definitely, and the way you can look at it in one sense, like yeah, it sucks it's not going to be on SummerSlam, but maybe it'll be better in the sense that when they do eventually have the match, they'll actually be given more time and it'll stand out
I
a lot
see,
more.
but I just guess because it's SummerSlam and it's your second biggest event of the year. I thought that maybe that they would have the match at that event.
But like realistically, this isn't the first time like we've had like major people left off SummerSlam. There's been like plenty of time where like major top guys like weren't on the show who like had major feuds who like were not on the show for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
One that sticks out to my head is like '91. Jake Roberts and Undertaker were like in the middle of a feud with Ultimate Warrior, and neither one of them were booked on SummerSlam that
Right.
year.
Yeah, you're right. They could have did Taker versus Ultimate Warrior for that year too. Yeah.
Honestly, what they could have done, they could have done Hogan and Warrior against Jake and Undertaker instead of the whole Sergeant Slaughter
Yeah,
bullshit.
they kind of like they kind of like overran with that storyline a little bit. Yeah, that's a good point.
You know that's ranked one of the 10 worst main events in SummerSlam
Really,
history.
I'm not surprised to hear that. And it was in the Garden of all in Madison Square Garden of all places.
That's a great SummerSlam. I love that SummerSlam, but admittedly, that main event match isn't my favorite part of it.
Right. I mean, his only thing is memorable for is Bret Hart, Mr. Perfect match, and the wedding.
Also, it's remembered for Virgil beating DiBiase for the $1 million belt. That
Yeah,
was
that one.
big. For
Yeah.
that time, that was big.
Mhm.
Also, LOD winning the tag titles. That was also a big moment because it was the like trifecta for them. They won like the titles in AWA, NWA, and then WWE. No one had
Right.
ever done it.
Got you.
And also Boss Man beating the Mountie in the jailhouse match and all those skits with Mountie
Yeah,
having to spend
that
the night
that
in
was funny.
jail.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, I remember that. I need to watch that event again.
Yeah, SummerSlam '91's mad fun. Like that main event match isn't the best part of it, but it's still overall a fun ass show. Sometimes people, no matter how big of a star they are, how popular they are, sometimes they get left off of some of the big shows. And in many cases, it's not personal. Like hell, even last year, the Seth Rollins and Matt Riddle match got cut at the last minute because they needed to squeeze in the Ray and Dominic and Judgment Day
Yeah, I
match.
remember that. And wait, wasn't it? And also, you got to remember, Matt Riddle was like hurt, wasn't he?
No, from what I heard, the reason was why they cut that match is because Rey Mysterio just had a new sponsorship he was a part of, and to promote that sponsorship, they had to have him on SummerSlam. So that's why they squeezed in the Rey and Dominic match against Judgment Day, and because they squeezed that match and they had to cut a match, and the match they chose to cut was the Rollins and Riddle
Right.
match.
Okay.
And hey, the match they had the next month at Clash of the Castle was great, and it made up for
Yeah,
it.
you're right. I can see it now. This is why we're having this show. So just hope for the best. I know the show overall is going to be good.
Oh, bro, they're gonna kill it. They're
I
gonna
know.
kill
I
it.
know it is. I know it is for a fact. That's why I'm excited for it. That's why I can't wait for Saturday.
Yes, and let's get into this sexy ass card real fast for SummerSlam, and let's break it down. For the Intercontinental title, we have Gunther, who just surpassed the Macho Man's title reign from '86 and '87, defending his title against Drew McIntyre.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm really pulling for Gunther to beat the record, and I want him to win. No offense to Drew McIntyre. I believe that after this match, it will not be over. I feel like there's going to be a little bit of a longer feud between these two, and I'd love to see it. But if I'm going to be honest, I would love to see Gunther beat that record, beat the Honky Talk Man's Intercontinental title reign record. So I want Gunther to win.
Yeah, he's come this far. He's only a month away from it. And Drew's great and all. I think it'll be a great match overall. I think they're going to kill it. But I want to see Gunther break the record, and I think he will. And by that, he will retain the title on Saturday.
You know that Gunther was on the front page of the national newspaper in Austria.
I did not know that. Holy shit. Good
Yeah,
for him.
He posted it on his Instagram. That's congrats to him, man. He's a big name in his country and of how far that man has come. But man, being on the front page of the national newspaper in your own country, amazing.
Yeah, and he's been a great champion. He's been one of the best champions in the whole company ever since he's held that belt. And
Yes,
I'd like to
yes.
see his reign
I love
continue.
this nickname, the Ring General. I love that.
The Ring General, if I'm pronouncing it right. But the thing I'm the happiest about is that this is going to be the first time in 5 years we're getting an Intercontinental title match at SummerSlam.
Wow. And I was Seth Rollins and wow, 5 years ago it was Seth Rollins versus The Miz, right? No, Dolph Ziggler. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was a great match too.
Yeah.
That was actually probably the best match on the whole show. Yeah, Dolph has a nice little record for himself for like having some of the best openers in SummerSlam history.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, but I'm just happy the IC title is being defended at SummerSlam where it belongs because we know of the many classic IC title matches that have taken place at this event. And I think this one is going to be ranked up there with all those classics.
I believe it. Yes.
And what I think will more than likely be the opening match at SummerSlam this year, we have Ricochet against the douchebag fuck Logan Paul.
It's a pretty interesting matchup. The build-up has been pretty, looks pretty good. Who needs it more? As I ask myself, who needs it more? Who does it benefit more in this match? I think Logan Paul is going to get a sneaky win, and I think he's going to sneak and get a win. Cheat, in a way.
I could see that happening. I mean, I think it'll be fun regardless. Like the spots they've done together in the last few times we've seen them interact have been dope. So I think in an opening match at SummerSlam in that stadium with that big ass crowd, I think they're gonna deliver. But yeah, I think what you said will probably go down with Logan Paul cheating and picking up the win. Because I was actually just thinking about it the other day when I was listening to Jason Solomonster. Logan Paul hasn't won a match since last year's SummerSlam against The Miz.
That's the reason why I picked him, because I was looking back. Like, wait, he hasn't won a match this year. I was like, that's crazy.
He lost to Roman. He didn't win the Royal Rumble. He lost to Rollins at WrestleMania, and then he didn't win Money in the Bank.
Right.
Yeah, in a way, he is due for a win. If Ricochet loses to the dude, it's not the end of the world. He'll be fine. At least he's actually on the card this year. So That's definitely a win in itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Ricochet hasn't been on a SummerSlam show since that 2019 SummerSlam.
Wow, that long.
Yeah, the match against AJ Styles.
Oh, yeah, and a match that he should have won. And I'll never forget that, man. I'll never forget that, how, he had that very short U.S. title reign. That was horrible.
Yeah, that whole period was kind of not a good look for him. So that's why I'm saying at least he's like in kind of a marquee match this year with a celebrity. It'll definitely be one of the standouts of the night. So yeah, win or lose, it's a good look for him.
It'll build him up. It'll help him up, and I'll love to see that.
Yeah, and considering that and what his fiance looks like, what the fuck does the dude have to be mad about?
Right.
Oh, and Homeboy made it personal last Monday when he pointed that out, that's your fiance, right? He's like, I just hope it doesn't hurt your feelings too bad when she has to announce my name as being the winner after our match.
Oh, my God.
Damn. But I think it is going to be the opener because I think Logan Paul has to leave early to go be in his brother's corner for his match in Dallas.
Oh, yeah, I remember you were talking about that, about in our last episode. I remember that.
Yeah, so it's more than likely going to go on first, which is fine. That'll be great. There have been a lot of great openers in SummerSlam history. And I know my personal favorite being the Mankind and Triple H one from 1997, the cage match.
Yes, so SummerSlam that you actually attended.
Yes, and the anniversary of that is tomorrow. 26 years.
Crazy.
Fun time to be a wrestling fan and just a fun time to be alive. Shit was awesome. But it's an awesome time to be alive now, too. Don't get it twisted.
No, of course not. Every day is a blessed day to wake up and be alive. Every day, no matter what.
Yes, it is. So let's keep it moving with this SummerSlam card. In a triple threat match for the Women's Championship, we have Asuka defending against the former champions Bianca Belair and Charlotte Flair.
I knew this was going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. And finally, Bianca Belair is getting her shot at the title. I know it's not one-on-one, but still, she's getting her shot. But I think Asuka's going to win. I would not like to see Charlotte win. That'll low-key piss me off. No offense to Charlotte Flair. Okay, but listen, I think Asuka's going to win.
I think that'll probably happen also. I feel like this triple threat match is kind of reminding me of the Rock, Triple H, and Angle triple threat from 2000, where the champion is the odd
Yeah, I've
person.
kind of felt like that. I've noticed that a little bit too now because lately they just been, the segments have just been focused on Charlotte and Bianca. It's just been between them two, not Asuka. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah, bro. I was actually watching the main event from SummerSlam 2000 this morning and like the promo package before the match, and The Rock is like barely in half of it. All of it is Triple H, Stephanie, and Kurt
All
Angle.
all revolving around Stephanie. That's why. Kind of like similar, to Triple H versus Chris Jericho for the undisputed title at WrestleMania 18, where Jericho was the champion. He was the odd man out because the whole storyline was revolving around Triple H and Stephanie. Kind of like same scenario. Like, it kind of sucks, especially when you're the champion, Kurt. Kind of sucks when you're the odd man out. Kind of does.
Yeah, and especially in the case with The Rock, when he's at the height of his popularity, he's the champion, and in the main event of SummerSlam, he's like the forgotten person in
Yep.
the whole story.
Yep.
Shit's crazy. But that's how you know that story was so good, and that's why you know that was like so well done. And in this scenario, it reminds me exactly of that, where like the real heat and like the real, I guess, story you could say is between Charlotte and Bianca. Like that's what you really want to see. That's what you like really are
I
aching
know,
to
but
see.
It's like Oscar's the champion. Why are you like putting your little heat on somebody else? But that's what I've noticed, and that's what I've seen. Most of the segments have been, and just the heat, everything has just been between Bianca Belair and Charlotte Flair. That's all I've been seeing. But yeah, regardless, I think Oscar's going to win.
I think Asuka will retain. Charlotte and Bianca will somehow cancel each other out. It's going to get really ugly between the
Yeah,
two of them, I think, and it's going to be fun to see. But there also looms the Money in the Bank holder, Io Sky.
that is true. That is true.
She could end up cashing in. I think it's a strong possibility that she could end up cashing in on, let's say, Asuka if Asuka does win, or there could be a chance that Charlotte could end up winning and then she cashes in on Charlotte right
I'd love to see
afterwards.
that. All I know is that I don't want to see Charlotte to win.
I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Exactly. If Charlotte were to get a pinfall, I'm hoping and praying within the next 30 seconds. Like, yo, Sky, come on out there, man. Come on out and cash it in.
And let's hope Bailey doesn't do anything to mess
Oh,
it up.
God. Don't say that. Please don't say that. Don't say that. Please don't jinx it. Don't. Oh, I'll expect to see that on SmackDown. I don't want to see that on your prime live event. Come on now.
But then again, Bailey has her own problems with Shotzi, so we got to also see what goes on with that too.
That's true.
And crazy SummerSlam is going to be the 1 year anniversary since the formation of Damage Control.
Oh yeah, because they made their return last year.
Yeah, after the Bianca and Becky match, another great SummerSlam opener. That one's also up there too.
It is. It is.
Yeah, so I think Asuka retains, but possibly gets the Money in the Bank cashed in on her, and Io Sky walks out with the belt.
Okay.
Regardless, it's going to be one of the matches to watch. Definitely one I'm looking forward to.
I feel it.
And also, we have the SummerSlam Battle Royal.
Okay, first of all, who's in this battle royal to begin with?
LA Knight for one.
Uh,
Sheamus. Alpha Academy. And they'll probably add like The Miz and Nakamura and Tommaso Ciampa and maybe Bronson Reed. Maybe Lashley and the Street Profits. Yeah, maybe add a couple other
what
people.
about Dominic Mysterio, maybe?
It's possible, but I think Dominic and Rhea are going to be involved with the title match, which we'll get into in a few minutes. But
Yeah. Yeah.
Grayson Waller, I think Grayson Waller will probably be in it too. It's basically going to be like a lot of like the mid card guys and like I guess maybe some other top guys who like aren't like in matches on the show, but like this is a way to get them on the show.
Okay.
And with that being said, I think this is the reason why they did the Battle Royal because they want to have LA Knight be on the show.
Well, you know, if that's the case, then he better win because a couple weeks ago on SmackDown, I felt like he got screwed over again because He was in a U.S. title qualifying match and he did not win. And I was hoping that he would win because I picked him to be the next guy to pretty much have a feud with Austin Theory. That didn't happen.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised with that too. It felt like a good opportunity, but they didn't use it. And with this, it could either have him win and that starts like, the real push
Oh,
for him, or the person who ends up winning ends up eliminating him and then they end up feuding and that'll be like the real like spark for
man.
him.
I don't know, man. I think LA Knight would have been the perfect man to feud with Austin Theory because I mean Austin Theory really. I mean, I'm sorry, it's been lackluster since WrestleMania.
Yeah, and he's set to defend the title this Friday on SmackDown against Santos Escobar after the match with Ray ended after a referee stoppage because Ray apparently was hurt. Maybe they could still end up feuding after SummerSlam. It's still possible, but I'll probably go out on a limb and say that LA Knight will win the Battle Royal.
Let's hope so, man. Let's hope so.
Yeah, I'll put my money on that. He'll win it. But let's move on to the other matches on the show. We have Ronda Rousey against Shayna
And an
Baszler.
MMA rules match.
And did you watch that video package they did for them on Raw Monday?
No, I missed it, but I heard it was really good.
Yeah, it was really good. It goes really into their backstory, how like they first became friends 10 years ago, and Ronda picked Shayna to be the person she would coach on the Ultimate Fighter when she was on there that season, and then that started their whole friendship, and then like Shayna ended up living with her for a few years with like the other four horsewomen. From Shayna's perspective, she was being used by Ronda, like to spar and get the shit kicked out of her every day. So she kind of had like some animosity because of that, and she also had animosity because of the fact that she got into wrestling before Ronda did, and also MMA in a way before Ronda did, and like Ronda ended up reaping all the benefits and like becoming more successful and making it further.
It's a perfect storyline. I love it. It's pretty much it's I had this passion for it first, did this stuff first, and you're pretty much just following me and just doing it for fame and attention. I get it.
Yeah, I really liked it. It was well done. And then I like how it ended where Shayna said, other than Rhonda's husband and her mom, she was the first person to hold Rhonda's baby when the baby was
What?
born. And then she said that baby's gonna grow up resenting and hating me for what I end up doing to her mother.
See that part I heard that was crazy. See
Ooh.
that right there alone made me really like okay because look prior to that I was kind of like about the feud and the match and all that stuff, but after hearing that I was like okay maybe all right.
But honestly, in this whole story, Shayna Baszler is the real hero in it, and Rhonda's the
You
villain.
told I know you said that multiple times before. We get it. We know.
And that crowd's gonna be heavy behind Shayna Baszler. No
Of
way
course.
are they cheering
Of course.
Ronda over
When
Shayna.
was the last time, Kurt? When was the last time we ever heard a crowd that went pro Ronda Rousey?
When she debuted at WrestleMania 34, they were pro Ronda Rousey, and for
Yeah, but afterwards,
most of
yeah,
that first year, they were hot for her. They didn't really start to turn on her until that Survivor Series match with Charlotte. That's where it
I
started,
feel you.
and she was actually upset about that. She was upset about the fact that the fans, like cheered when Charlotte beat her up with the kendo stick. She was, yeah, very upset backstage. I think that may have been where like some of her resentment towards the fans started, was that
I see
show.
what you mean.
And then it gradually got worse, and then she left for those 3 years. And even like in those 3 years she was gone, she would like put out these random tweets about how like wrestlers aren't real tough people and wrestlers are pussies, and also like calling out the fans for like shitting on certain things and not liking certain things. And Shayna Baszler, to her credit, was a killer. Like especially in her NXT run, she was unstoppable, bro. On and with the exception of like a 2 month period, she held the women's title for like over a year and a half. Yeah, like over a year and a
This
half.
match favors for both because they both have an MMA background. But who has the edge? That is the biggest question going into this matchup.
I think Shayna Baszler hands it to Ronda and comes out the winner. I think Shayna's gonna have her way
I
with
feel
her,
you. Okay. I love to see, man. I love the.
and it's not gonna be pretty to watch. I think either. I think this is gonna be a
Oh,
oof, oof. Shit is gonna be violent, son. Shit is going to be violent.
you know what? I mean, I wonder if That would have been so cool if they actually had it in an actual octagon instead of having it in the ring. Kind of similar to what year was it? Was it '98? The Lion Dens match between Owen Hart and Ken Shamrock.
Yeah, I was just watching that match the other day. Actually, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I wish they would do something like that. I mean, I don't know, I may be wrong though, but I'm just throwing an idea out there. Since you're gonna do an MMA rules matchup, do that. Have the match in the octagon. I would love to see that.
Yeah, maybe we will. We'll see what happens Saturday. But let's move on with the card. So you have Shayna winning.
Yes, yes, I do.
Yeah, I don't know if this is going to be Ronda's last match, but if it
Yeah, 'cause she's
is,
gonna be leaving pretty soon.
yeah, that's the story that came out, is that she's going to probably be leaving soon. So that's why she wants to do the feud with Shayna, so she could, build up
Have a good
Shayna
way to
on the
walk
way
out.
out. Yeah, exactly. Make
Look
Shayna.
strong. Have a good way to walk out on your terms. That would be a good way to do it. So
Yeah, and to build up her friend. Shayna's her friend, so who better to do it for?
right.
Yeah, and we move on to the final time. We have Cody Rhodes against Brock
You
Lesnar.
know what? Was hoping that this match was going to have a certain stipulation since you guys are going to do it for the third time. Traditionally, Kurt, wrestlers, when they, face each other for the third time, fourth time, they put a stipulation in it. No matter what it is. No disqualification, hardcore, steel cage, all that. But it's not. But it is what it is. So we're going to get it for the third and last time. The trilogy. This time, Cody Rhodes is going to win and end this feud. I thought it was a bit, it was kind of funny how in the last segment, on the go home show for SummerSlam, it was kind of funny how Brock Lesnar wanted Cody Rhodes to shake his hand. I was like, I don't want to do that if I were you. You know your history. Every time you shake Brock Lesnar's hand, that doesn't end well. But it still didn't even end well, regardless. But at the same time, though, it was Cody Rhodes was the one who attacked him after he shook his hand. It was funny.
Yeah, like he shook Brock's hand, and Brock like knocked bumped into him as he was walking out of the ring, and then as Brock was leaving, Cody did the dive through the second rope on the Brock, but then within a few seconds, Brock just rammed him up against the post and then just had his way with him.
Yeah,
Kind of the
yeah,
same shit we've been seeing between the two of them the last four
pretty
months.
much. But yeah, it needs to end. I was just hoping that this match was going to have a stipulation. I think if you would have had a stipulation in this match, it would have made it more interesting. I'm not saying the feud is not bad. I'm really not. I'm just talking about for just, add a little bit more to the feud. Put a stipulation into it.
I mean, the feud's been fine. I had no real issue with it. The matches have been like, cool, but like, not matches I would pick for like match of the year or anything. But who knows? Maybe they'll give us a match of the year candidate on Saturday. But I will say, not having a stipulation is definitely taking away from it, because it does not feel as interesting as it should.
Yeah, especially at an event like that. And then, you want to make your feud as hot and interesting as possible because, like I said, traditionally, when you have a feud, Kurt, I'd say like second or third match, there is a stipulation into it because the intensity of the feud. They're great doing it, building it up, but at the same time, it's like, all right, well, if we're doing all this, let's add something to it.
Yeah, but it is what it is. There's nothing we can really do about it. The match is set. If they were going to add a
Yeah.
stipulation to it, they would have done it by now. But regardless, I think the match will be cool for what it is. Hopefully, it'll be the best out of the three they've done. But I do think Cody walks out with the win.
Yes.
Did you watch the new Cody documentary that dropped this week?
No, I haven't. I heard about how he didn't want to work with Seth Rollins anymore.
They didn't talk about that on the documentary though. But there have been stories that have been coming out the last few months, and they both even admitted it, that they don't really get along. They're not cool.
Ever since that incident since last year?
The thing is, I think Seth Rollins resents the fact that Cody left and like started another rival promotion, and now they're bringing him back, and he's like being pushed and like getting the main event of WrestleMania, which he actually never got technically.
Yeah, you're right. Even though that Seth had that big WrestleMania moment of him cashing in at WrestleMania 31 to become the world champion, but still though, that doesn't precede the fact that he didn't really have like a main event match.
So yeah, there's resentment apparently from him on that end. I think he's admitted that in interviews before. So yeah, like Cody's even admitted that they've almost gotten into like a fight in front of everybody backstage once.
Serious?
Yeah,
I mean, I would love to see these two work with each other again, but I don't know. I mean, the only way that were to happen is they'd put their differences aside.
maybe one day, but it's not really in the cards for them to feud right now.
No, it's not. No, no.
Yeah, I mean their feud was great last year. I enjoyed all three matches, and even for their personal issues aside, I guess they still made magic together. And maybe Rollins also resented that also that he was being used to lose to him three straight pay-per-views.
Mm. But no, I don't see these two working with each other anytime soon. Also, you got to look at the fact that, I mean, after this, what's going to happen with Cody afterwards?
I was hearing something that maybe Bray Wyatt, if he does come back, they might feud, but I wouldn't bet on it.
Sorry, if that were to happen, man, it's just I don't know. It's what more are you going to do with this experiment? He comes back last year, and you're going, oh my god, great, and then nothing clicked, nothing happened. So it's like, and he had full control of his character. So it's like, what are you doing that's not, you know, clicking with us? And I think it's the fact that I think, Undertaker, I think Undertaker said this in an interview not too long ago. Bray Wyatt needs to go back to the original character that he introduced himself into when he debuted back in 2013. That's what he needs to do.
Apparently, I don't think he's going to because he doesn't want to, out of respect for Brody Lee, since like Brody Lee's dead, he doesn't want to kind of go back to that character he played while they were working together.
I, oh, yeah.
And I don't even know if it's even that. I don't even know if that'll even fix the problem because the thing is that
To me, it's that.
like what the thing is with him, it just seems like he's kind of unreliable where he constantly needs time off. He constantly needs to take breaks and like some random emergency happens or something. It's like, and those things are valid. I'm not saying they aren't, but from all these times he's had to take time off, it just seems like he's unreliable.
I mean, well,
So
you know what? I think it's not just that, but also you got to look at the fact that, I mean, when he came back, this goes back, almost up like 9 years ago, 8 years ago. He was put in very just unmeaningful feuds that killed off his momentum. And then when he came back last year, he was just dragging it. Like, oh, something like brother who and sister bro, whatever it is. He kept dragging it, and it's like, okay, who are you going to feud?
the Mountain Dew match, the Mountain Dew match.
I mean, that too, though. But it's like he was dragging along this story about his background, and I was saying to myself, like, dude, I don't want to see that. Put yourself in a feud that could get the fans to watch you, to get the fans back on track with you, just like 10 years ago.
That's all well and good, bro. And I'm not, and obviously WWE did play a hand in some of the things that hurt his character. But if those things are true about him being unreliable and all that, then he's also at fault too.
True. I don't know. If that's the rumor, I'm honestly, I don't really have faith in it. I don't know how they're going to do it. If all I know is that if they are going to do it, is better help Cody in a way, especially with what they're trying, if they're planning whatever plans they're trying to do with him, next year as far as him trying to, finally winning the title.
Yeah, but we'll see. There's nothing etched in stone. So after this feud with Brock is over, I'm not sure where he goes from here, but only time will tell. But I did enjoy his documentary. We'll get into that a little later. But let's get on to the World Heavyweight Championship match, which will feature Seth Rollins against Finn Balor. A match that is 7 years in the making. 7 years in the making.
Okay, this, ladies and gentlemen, is the real 7 years in the making. I didn't know they were going to have a rematch of SummerSlam, but prior, okay? But this is actually 7 years in the making because, ladies and gentlemen, the last time Seth Rollins and Finn Balor faced each other for a championship at SummerSlam was back in 2016. And the last time Finn Balor, or should I say Demon Finn Balor, he was the one who won the title. He won the inaugural Universal Championship at the time.
He did win the title that night, but due to a separated shoulder he suffered during the match, he had to forfeit the title the very next night, and he has never been world champion on the main roster
That is why
since.
it's 7 years in the making, ladies and gentlemen. You know what? I picked him to win that Money in the Bank, I was wrong. But I think for the second time, and I love the feud. I love the build up to this. I'm still picking Finn Balor to win. I do not see Finn Balor losing to him for the second time in a row. I can't see it. I don't know what they're gonna do unless if Damian Priest comes in like he did the last time and screw it all up like the last time. But I don't think that's gonna happen. The Judgment Day is on a hot roll right now. You have Damian Priest as the Money in the Bank contract holder. Rhea Ripley is still the World Women's Champion. Dominic Mysterio had just won a North American Championship like little less than about a couple weeks ago. So I don't see Finn Balor losing this time, man.
It's a possibility. I think I was maybe too quick to say that Rollins was going to win. No way he was losing. But over these last few weeks, I think there is a chance he can win. There is a chance. But I think what might happen, possibly, he could end up winning, and then Damian Priest cashes in on him and wins the title.
Who, on Finn?
Yeah, it could happen.
God, the hell turmoil will break loose within Judgment Day if that were to happen.
Bro, I would not rule it out. I would not rule that out at all.
As much of a hot streak that faction is on, and I'm going to be honest with you, Kurt. I thought at one moment that I thought they were going to, they're kind of like off the hinges a little bit at one point, but they got back on track with each other. But man, if that were to happen, oh my God. But you know what? I don't think it's time yet for Damian to cash in right now. I think not yet.
Well, I think he's going to play into the match in some way. There's definitely going to be a lot of Judgment Day shenanigans going on in this match,
especially from Dominic and Rhea. I mean, of course so. But it would be really foolish if Damian Priest were to interfere again, just like he did the last time.
He might, bro. I'm telling you, man. Anything can happen in this match, and that's why in a way, I'm looking forward to this match more than I was the last month. And I think it's going to be definitely an outcome that's going to have us talking afterwards.
You have to wait and see. I don't know, man. I don't think Damian is ready just yet. I think it's a little bit too soon.
Just in general, I think that it could very well play out this way, and if it does, it'll definitely be one of the more interesting cash-ins we've seen in a long time.
Of course, it'll be interesting because of the fact that you're not only are you cashing in for the title, but you're cashing on the person who's within the same faction that you're with. That's the interesting thing about it, Kurt. And if I were to see that happen, I'll be like, damn, like, oh my, did he really just like? I mean, look, I'm not saying being selfish is a bad thing. Sometimes in life you have to be selfish, but boy, would that be really selfish if Damian Priest were to do that.
Well, as Scott Hall would say, you could either have friends in the wrestling business or have money. And I think Damian Priest might make that choice this Saturday.
Come on, everybody knows that game, that story for years. You can't make it in this business, being successful in the business of making friends. We all know that story.
Like I said, this outcome is going to be one to watch, and I'm going to stick by what I said. I think Finn will end up winning somehow, and then Damian Priest is going to take his moment away from him.
Oh, God. I don't know. Okay, we have to see what happens. Me personally, I don't think Damian Priest is ready yet. Not just yet.
Like Cody wasn't ready at WrestleMania?
That's different. That is different. He really showed that guy could hold his own. Let's not forget what he did a year prior to that, man.
Yeah, but Damian Priest has been proving himself a lot, especially with that Bad Bunny match earlier this year. So
that was like recent though, but you got to remember Cody, what he did the year prior to him winning the Rumble and then going to the Mania and all that stuff. You know what I mean? So he really, that was like a year ago. It wasn't like Cody last year came back and then he has this match at WrestleMania and then about a few months later, oh, he's in the main event now. You know what I mean? Like that's a completely different story. And honestly, age really doesn't have a factor in it. Yeah, I get his age, but at the same time, the experience with wrestling is a bit different from your age. Um, Damian Priest really has shown it to me so far, especially with his match at Bad Bunny, but with Bad Bunny, I'm sorry, but right now I just don't, not yet, just not yet.
Okay, I guess we'll see what happens in that match on Saturday, and let's move on to the main event. For the undisputed Universal WWE Championship, we have Roman Reigns defending against his cousin Jey Uso in tribal combat.
You know what? I think this was it this morning. Oh, I was looking at old photos of Roman and Jay throughout the years when they were kids, teenagers, just growing up throughout all the years, and I was just like, wow, times has changed, man. It's so much has changed. War within the family. This is very personal. Tribal combat. Not only Kurt, whoever wins the match will be the champion, but they will be deemed the tribal chief.
Yeah, it's crazy that it's come down to
Yeah, I
this.
know. I said this before. I think I said this in our last two episodes. I hope this is really be like a big stepping push for Jay in the future in that main event status of what he's putting himself into, depending on how well the match goes. Roman's going to retain the title, but I think Jay's really going to show out and show up in this match.
Yeah, this is his moment. This is his moment.
This is his moment to prove himself. If he could be a future main eventer.
Yeah, because I remember when this storyline started 3 years ago when Roman first became the champion, and he did well in those matches also. He held his own in those matches too, but now he's a far better character and like a lot more credible now than he was then. He's definitely earned his stripes in that time.
Yes, way more confident now, way more. And you got to remember, there's a big difference. There's a big difference from this year and last year. You got to remember, where were we 3 years ago, Kurt? We were in the pandemic. They were performing in the Thunderdome with no fans. Okay, now you're with fans.
It's going to be at a stadium at that, like a freaking stadium show at that. They go from the pandemic with no fans at the fucking Thunderdome to freaking Ford Field and probably the most attended SummerSlam since '92. Shit is going to be on,
Mm-hmm.
bro. Shit is going to be on.
Yep. So all it is just a test for him. Really see if he's going to be that main event guy for the future. But Roman's going to win.
I agree. Roman will win. We all know Roman will retain. There's no question about it. Jay's been great in this storyline, and I think he will put in a great performance. But realistically, Roman is not losing that title right now. He is not losing that title right now.
No, no.
And I only have one phrase to describe this match. And you want to know how it goes?
Oh,
Tribal combat. Dun, 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 dun.
it's literally what I just said earlier. It's a tribal combat match. Oh, I mean, I don't know how it's going to play out though, but
It's basically like an anything goes match.
crazy.
Yeah, so Roman will retain the title and the title of tribal chief. It's crazy that both of those things are on the line too. And I was thinking about another thing. Maybe we'll see the whole family at ringside, like in SummerSlam '94.
Hopefully, you have. Oh my God, the wild Samoan.
Bro, that'd be so dope if they did that way too. That'd be so dope.
Wow, I never thought about that. That would be dope. Rikishi, the wild Samoans. Oh, wow.
And you have like Solo sitting in the background, like Solo is like sitting in the background too.
Mm-hmm.
How like Jim Neidhart was at SummerSlam '94, and then after the match he like attacked everyone. Yeah. So crazy how Owen and Anvil just handled all of them. None of them could get in the cage.
That was so funny.
It was like five. It was like five of them trying to get in the cage, and Owen and Anvil were like just knocking them all down, like left and right.
Even British Bulldog had a hard time getting in the cage. I'm like, dude.
Yeah, eventually he got in. Like after he took his shirt off, eventually he got in, and he kicked Owen down. But yeah, shit was nuts.
Crazy.
But that hands down, that whole match, that whole thing they did that night was gold. And I think at this year's SummerSlam they could pull off something similar, if not better.
I would love to see that.
Yeah. Then now that idea stuck in my head. Fuck yeah. Hey, I gotta say, I've come up with some crazy predictions tonight
You have.
and watch them play out.
Look, I don't think all of them is going to play. I would like to see. I like to see 2 out of the 3.
And watch them come up with a meme, like you know that meme where they show like a person writing something and then it shows like another person copying them.
Yeah, that's you.
Yeah, they'll do like a meme where it'll be like Clash of Champions, Kirk is dead, and then
Uh,
in the other meme it says WWE copying me,
sorry, that's definitely you.
like the Nas and Shakespeare one I saw a couple weeks ago.
Man, you know what? I still need. I need to listen to his album. I have listened to his new album yet.
He's our hip hop Lord and Savior, bro. You got to make time for our hip hop Lord and Savior.
Of course. Now, come on. I have Nas's Illmatic album on the record vinyl. Now, come on.
Oh shit. I think this will be fun. I think this will be definitely a standout match. This whole story's been great, and with the main event of SummerSlam, I think this is gonna be one for the history books.
I feel it. And like I said, there's a good opportunity, good chance that this could be better than WrestleMania.
Possibly, and even better than last year's SummerSlam. Last year's SummerSlam was mad fun, bro. I loved last year's show.
Mm.
And that main event was wild too. That was by far Roman. That was by far Roman and Brock's best match together since their WrestleMania 31
Of
match.
course, because we've never seen anything like that. We didn't see somebody hit with a freaking forklift, not a forklift though, but a freaking blow driver and just move the ring like that.
Yeah, that shit was nuts. That match was a fucking spectacle if I've ever seen one.
Didn't you say you wanted to go last year?
Yeah, I was only a 4 hour drive away. I could have gone, and then once I saw how good the show was, I'm like, fuck, man, I should have gone. I should have gone to that instead of the AEW show I went to.
Man,
Yeah, that AEW show ended up being a letdown, and then SmackDown the night before in Atlanta was actually not bad, and then SummerSlam ended up being one of the best shows of the year.
crazy.
That is what it is. I've already been to my SummerSlam. If I ever get to go to another one, that's cool. But as long as I get to go to another WrestleMania, I won't be mad.
I feel it. Are you gonna try to go in Philly next year?
I believe I will. Yes, I need to go visit the Rocky monuments. I need to have some vegan Philly cheesesteaks, meet the great people of Philly, and also Philly's a great wrestling town too. Philly, I rank as one of my
It is.
top
That's
five
the
wrestling
whole
cities.
ECW, baby. Come on now.
Yeah, my top five wrestling cities are New York, which includes Madison Square Garden, Barclays Center, and Nassau Coliseum. Also, Philly, Toronto, Chicago, and I'll throw Montreal in there too. I'll actually throw in Montreal.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Actually, no, I don't know. It's actually between Montreal and London. I have to. It's a kind of a tie between those two.
For me, it's Chicago, New York, Philly, Toronto.
Vegas,
No.
Fort Myers, Florida,
Stupid. No. I had to put London in there too.
Omaha, Nebraska.
So, no, I was gonna say the North Pole too. And I'm like,
Or maybe the South Pole where Santa Claus came from.
oh man. You know what? It's crazy. Today's the I found out today's the 25th anniversary of the ECW Heat Wave event. I need to watch that show.
Oh, Heat Wave '98. That was voted the best wrestling show of the year in the Wrestling Observer.
Wow. Yeah, I was.
That's the show where it has like DDT Bam Bam Bigelow through the stage.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that was Bam Bam's last match in ECW because he went to WCW right after.
Oh, right, right.
But yeah, I think Roman stands tall, retains the titles, and it'll be a SummerSlam to remember, bro. And this will definitely, regardless if it's the best SummerSlam or not, it'll definitely be better than 1993 was. That is no questions asked.
Definitely, because I don't know why I didn't say that in the beginning of our show, but yeah, 30 years later, let's hope that the SummerSlam redeems itself in Detroit. 'Cause that one from 30 years ago, boy, woo.
And I heard actually Detroit's favorite son, Kid Rock, is going to be doing the cold open this year.
Yes?
Yeah, the cold open at the beginning of the show. Yeah, Kid Rock's gonna be doing it.
Okay.
I wonder what kind of reaction he's gonna get. Yeah, because I remember a few years ago when they showed him on screen at a Pistons game, he got booed.
What? It's probably shocking to hear that. Well, I'm not shocked to hear that, probably because the fans are pissed off at their own team for not being successful.
Actually, you want to know why? You want to know why they were booing
Why?
him? A big reason why they were probably booing him is because of his political views. Because he's like a very pro Trump person, and he was like talking shit about Kaepernick after the national anthem protest, saying "fuck Kaepernick" at his concert. So a lot of people have kind of turned against him if they weren't already against him before. Yeah, so I even saw a post online saying, "In a world full of Kid Rocks, being Eminem."
That's funny though. Speaking of Eminem, because he was at the Crawford and Spence fight that I watched on Saturday.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I saw pictures of
Yeah.
that. Yeah, they should have gotten him to do the cold open instead. He would have been a much better choice.
Oh yeah, because that's Detroit's favorite son right there.
Hell yeah. They made a freaking movie about it.
Hey,
Yeah, that's a great movie, actually. Honestly, that's one of the best movies from that year is 8 Mile. All right, but with that aside, that is your SummerSlam card for this coming Saturday. It's going to be wild. It's going to be dope. And I don't think AEW Collision is going to have a chance against it. I'm sorry to say, but they will not.
no, hell no. Everybody, yeah, I mean, let's be fair. I mean, like, no offense to AEW Collision, they've been doing a very good job, especially after what happened last week, because it seems to me that there's a little bit of confusion on who's the real, on my opinion, about who's the real world's champion, because CM Punk came out to the ring with a bag. And he brings out the AEW World Championship belt that he won back in last September against Jon Moxley. And he spray paints an X, a black spray paint, NWO style. He sprays paints X on the belt. And to me, ladies and gentlemen, and Kurt, to me, that's telling everybody, the whole world, that look, I'm the real world's champion, the belt that I've never lost in his own mind.
Here we go again.
With what?
This is like This is like 2011 all over again with the Cena and CM Punk story where like Cena beat him for the belt and then he left and then Cena won the title back like in a tournament. Right after Cena wins the tournament, Punk comes back with the actual belt.
That's funny.
Where everyone complains that they brought Punk back too soon.
Everybody thought Punk came back way too soon at that time.
Yeah, like in 2011, like after they did that whole storyline where he was leaving after Money in the Bank. Yeah, they felt like they should have teased him being away for a while before they eventually brought him back. But just to bring him back a week later was way too soon. Yeah, a lot of people have complained about that.
I didn't realize that I was a week later. You got to remember, I was not watching wrestling anymore at the time.
I wasn't either, but I ended up catching up on it, and then like reading about it and stuff. And I'm like, oh shit, damn, they brought him back that soon.
I thought it was like at least 2 weeks after.
Yeah, even that would have been too soon. Also,
I know. Maybe could have waited till the first week of August, maybe.
regardless, they just I guess needed a main event for SummerSlam, so that's why they rushed it back so soon.
Of course,
And
of course.
if Punk had just retained and beaten Cena cleanly and just walked out with the belts, that would have been fine. But then they did the Kevin Nash bullshit, and then Del Rio cashed in on him afterwards, and then he loses at the next pay per view.
The whole summer Punk thing it was going sky high to the moon, and then just slowly crash and burn. After SummerSlam, it was with that, and then you had, him losing to Triple H. Yeah, it was just. I know he ended up winning the title at Survivor Series, which was a good moment because it was in the Garden and all that stuff, and he, ended up with the longest reigning, championship reign at that time. But boy, yeah, it was a slow crash and burn at the time.
Yeah, it was just a letdown, but with what they're doing with Punk now, it does look pretty good on paper. I did enjoy the segment he had with Ricky Starks, where Ricky Starks basically challenged him for the title at this coming Saturday's Collision. So this is going to be pretty much their WrestleMania 4 against the original Clash of Champions coming up.
Really?
It's crazy.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
the very first
Uh,
Clash of Champions went opposite WrestleMania 4.
no pun intended.
Yeah, I kicked myself. I
Wow.
remember a few years ago during our anniversary part of the show, I was like talking about WrestleMania 4, and my ass forgot to talk about the Clash of Champions that came on the same night,
Wow.
which everybody actually says was the better show out of the two.
What, the Clash of Champions?
That Clash of Champions from that night, yes, it is considered the better show out of that in WrestleMania 4.
Mm.
That actually had my pick for the 88 match of the year, that Clash of Champions show.
I feel it. Okay.
You know what that match is, right?
Ric Flair versus somebody, right?
It was Ric Flair versus Sting. This was Sting's coming out party.
I knew I was about to say Sting. I should have said it. Knew it.
Yeah, this is like Sting's breakout match, and they went to like a 45-minute draw. Yeah, it was a good ass match. I watched it like a couple years ago. It's a good ass match. Yeah, honestly, that match is better than anything on WrestleMania 4. Anything on WrestleMania 4. And that show actually did a good rating. It didn't beat WrestleMania, but it actually did a decent rating.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, so AEW Collision does look like a good show for this Saturday. It's going to be that match, and also it's going to have a special guest referee, which will be Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Yes, I heard about that.
Yeah, it should be a good match. I'll definitely watch it, but SummerSlam comes first. I am sorry, SummerSlam is my second favorite event of the year, so that will come first.
Yes.
Yes, and also on Collision, we had the tag team title match between FDR and Adam Cole and MJF. And this is a good ass match, bro. Which ended up with MJF actually sacrificing himself for Adam Cole and about to take FDR's finisher, but then it was reversed. But then Dax Harwood actually rolled up MJF, pulled his tights, and got the pin, and FDR retained the titles. But yeah, it was a good ass match. FDR has been on a roll like on Collision the last like month. They've been having like bangers after bangers on that freaking show.
They have, as they always have. They're a legit tag team. Always loved them. Like I said, now on to MJF and Adam Cole. It's gonna end. It's gonna end.
But to our surprise, it did not end on Saturday, as they were kind of teasing that it was going to end. And as Adam Cole turned his back, he noticed that MJF was like looking as if he was about to hit him with the belt. And then MJF kind of has second thoughts about it. And then Adam Cole turns around, and then they end up hugging and raising each other's hand as the show goes off the air.
Oh,
So they're staying together a little longer, it seems.
it's gonna end eventually.
It will eventually. It is what it is. But let's just enjoy it for the time it lasts. That's all I can say.
Right.
That's all you can do is enjoy certain things while they last, because
Of course.
you
Of
never
course.
know when you might not have them anymore. Great show overall. Also, there was a great ladder match between Andrade and Buddy Matthews. Holy shit, man. This match was wild.
Wow. Tell us how that went down.
Yeah, it basically ended with Andrade about to climb the ladder, but Julia Hart was trying to stop him, and she was like slapping him and hitting him, and then he pushed Julia Hart off of the ladder on top of Buddy Matthews through a table that was against the turnbuckles.
Wow.
And then he ended up climbing the ladder and grabbing his mask, because it was his mask that was at stake in the match. Then he grabbed it from the top and won the match. But yeah, this match was hard hitting and brutal. And yeah, these two beat the hell out of each other. Beat the hell out of each other.
Damn. Like I said, man, I mean, Collision has, I mean, I'm surprised the fact that, we said this before, I'm surprised that, they're able to, the decision to have that show on a Saturday, which is, it's kind of hard to get viewers for a show on Saturday. But for them to able to get the good ratings that they wanted and just get the viewership, and also, just to produce good storytelling, good matches, they really deserve it. I'm really surprised about it, though, but at the same time, I'm very amazed.
Yeah, I think this show is just what the doctor ordered. I think this is exactly what that company needed, and I think it's doing them a lot of good.
Mm-hmm.
It's giving a lot more people a chance to shine, a lot more people TV time that weren't getting as much TV time previously. And yeah, it's a win-win as far as I'm concerned. The show's great, and the show is very enjoyable.
Yeah, but I think that just for this brief moment, just this one brief weekend, it's gonna, unless the average fan, not the average fan, unless if you have that fan is gonna actually gonna watch both at the same time. I mean, it's. I mean, you could do that. I don't know if you're gonna do that.
No, I don't like doing it that way. No, no.
Some do. There's some people out there that do that, but you know,
That's cool. That's cool. That's their prerogative.
yeah.
Also, what's been going on with AEW lately is the issue after the Taya Valkyrie and Britt Baker match last week on Dynamite. As the match wasn't received well, the match was very heavily criticized, and it resulted in the two getting a lot of backlash on Twitter, and a lot of like mean and nasty shit was said to the both of them, specifically Taya Valkyrie, who actually put out a tweet talking about the fact that she woke up that morning to like a bunch of messages, tweets, and all this other jazz about how she's disgusting, she's fat, she sucks, and she doesn't deserve to be in the ring, and like, oh yeah, a whole bunch of mean shit. And she was like saying, "Yo, I'm just doing my best."
Damn, are you serious?
Yeah, it's like, yo, calm the fuck down. It's not that serious. If you don't like the match, that's fine, but you don't need to make that shit fucking personal.
Don't. Especially just in a business like that, man. Come on now, like it's uncalled for. There's no need for it.
And if it's probably some dudes calling her like fat and disgusting, I mean, I'm like, bro, you'd be lucky to even like have a girl like that look at you. Shut the fuck up.
Mm.
Yeah, and look, I'm not saying it was the best match per se. I can understand why people didn't like it, but yo, saying that kind of bullshit and like saying that hurtful, evil, negative shit, that shit is for the birds. That shit is for the birds.
Well said.
Yeah, and Britt Baker actually apparently warned Taya Valkyrie that it could get nasty, like with the fans online, they could get nasty about shit like that.
I mean, she's right. It could.
Yeah, it's sad, man. Every fan base has its own toxicness to it, and the wrestling one I think is one that stands out. I don't want to say it's the worst one, but it's definitely one that stands out. Where like I just see a lot of the shit that people say online, and I'm like,
It is not just online, but you know the things that people do in person when they see a wrestler. It has been well documented.
oh yeah, like the incident with like Sonya Deville, and not to mention like looking up their flight information so you can try to get a picture with them or whatever, and yeah, like harassing.
Just stalking them. Period. You know, and just doing stuff out of character, man.
Yeah, that
Just
shit's not healthy. That shit is not
yeah.
healthy.
Right.
Yeah, like, and whenever you're famous, whenever you're in the public eye like that, I guess you have to expect that you're gonna get that kind of criticism and that kind of hate for no reason.
Right. Right.
Yeah, but I fucks with Britt Baker.
Oh, I love Britt Baker too. Avid sports fan, loves her sports. So yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny. After that match was over, they caught a sign in the audience that said "Book the women better."
Do you believe that? Yeah.
There is some truth to that in AEW to a degree. Yes, there is. I like their women's division, but I'm not gonna lie, it's not a focal point the same way the WWE's is.
I know. I think. I tell you what, though, I do love their belt. Love it. Oh my god. To me, I think that's the best belt in that company. Best looking belt.
I'd still go with the TNT title, but I feel you. Also, the tag titles are nice too.
You like the TNT title design better than the women's?
Yeah, I do. Also, the tag titles look nice too. Those tag titles look mad dope.
It does though, but I like the women's though. Just looks so like I see that like oh my god, that looks like an actual wrestling belt. That like there just woof. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it, but yeah, there is some truth to that, and also Jamie Hayter apparently is going to be out for a lot longer than we thought. She's actually not going to be back for the rest of the year.
Oh wow, due to what injury?
I know she was like injured before Double or Nothing back in Vegas, and then she ended up losing the title to Tony Storm. And they said she was going to be out for a while, but you figured she would be back in time for All In at Wembley Stadium. But the way it's looking now, she's not going to be back in time for that. She's going to be out for a lot longer.
And that's another show I'm looking forward to. I can't wait for that show, man.
Yeah, it should be dope. And yeah, it's unfortunate she's going to miss the show. And also, I'm hearing that Jade Cargill might not come back.
Why is that?
I don't know. Maybe she's just done with it, and maybe she's like not liking maybe certain aspects of it, and maybe she might want to get out. I heard that after she dropped the title at Double or Nothing, that she was taking a break, but I don't know if that break is going to be like a permanent one or maybe just a one that's temporary.
Crazy.
I hope she does come back because she has a lot to offer. I know her ring work isn't the best right now, but yo, she has way other things that she offers that more than make up for it.
Didn't you tell me that she does, she was doing something else on the side other than wrestling? Like she had a career for herself before she got into the business?
I believe she did. I know she played basketball. She used to play basketball, and also her husband's a baseball player or was a baseball player.
Yeah, but there was something else that you told me that she did. Like like she had like another career job that she was doing.
Psychologist. Yeah, she's a licensed psychologist.
Let's see. Okay.
Yeah, she was on the Breakfast Club and she was talking about that. Yeah, she's a licensed psychologist too.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, she's a cool lady. I told you I served her at work 2 years ago. She's a cool lady. I assume the guy she
Yeah.
was with was her husband. And yeah, they seemed like nice
Mhm.
enough people. It's crazy. My brother saw her at the Hawks game like a couple months ago.
That I remember you telling me that. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she definitely has a lot to offer, bro. She has that look, she has that presence, she's a good character. Yeah, and that whole baddie section shit was dope, but her, like a lot of other people on that show, just weren't getting enough TV time.
I believe that you say it. Yeah, book the women better.
Yeah, and also WWE's women's division isn't really perfect either. I mean, they get more TV time, which is great, but yeah, like a lot of their stories, it seems like they won't like really build a major story for the women outside of the women's title, with the exception recently of the Becky and Trish story.
Right. They won't do good on their build ups though, but when it comes to the match, they're like, oh, wait a minute now. I was not expecting this. It is the complete opposite because the match is perfect.
Yeah, the matches usually deliver. I'll give it that. Like for instance, at WrestleMania, we had both Charlotte and Rhea Ripley and Bianca and Asuka both had horrible builds, but both matches turned out great in the end.
Yeah. So I really think, we're gonna go back, to the triple threat match at SummerSlam. I really think Bianca Belair, Charlotte, and Asuka gonna have a good match.
Yeah, but I don't think Bianca's probably going to turn in that because even though they're starting that kind of like new hurt business with like Lashley and the Street Profits and possibly Carmelo Hayes, there were stories that they wanted to maybe add Bianca to it, but they're like very hesitant to turn her because of her whole image and like how popular she is with kids.
You got to take a risk at some point. You got to do what you got to do. I honestly think that would be a good idea. I think that would be great for her if they were to do that. But at the same time, can't think. Oh, I don't know. I don't. You know what I mean? Like you got to take risks, man. So if they do it, I would love to see it.
And that could happen also. Like that could also happen too in the match. Who knows? But I know for a fact Charlotte and Bianca are canceling each other out.
Of course, of course.
Yeah, hopefully AEW gets the women's division together and they give it more time and like give it more attention. Athena should be like put more in their division more from what a lot of people are saying. She's been killing it in Ring of Honor lately.
Got you.
Yeah, it looks like her leaving WWE was the best thing that could have happened to her.
And it happens to the most, to some. They leave the company and then it works out better for them, and smaller territories. It happens.
Yeah, I remember they put her in that match at SummerSlam a few years ago for the women's title against Bailey, where it had like no build or no story at all. And then when the match happened, and like was just kind of like just there, like wasn't really much to it. And then like yeah, after that there was just like nothing really for her,
Mm,
at least on the main roster.
mm.
Yeah, but yeah, she's been killing it there. She's definitely being used to her full potential. And that Willow Nightingale girl is good too. Yeah, she's fucking great. Yeah, you should watch these women more, man. I'm telling you, they have some fucking banger ass matches.
For Ring of Honor.
Yeah, for Ring of Honor, yeah, Willow Nightingale and Athena main evented their pay per view a few weeks ago, and it was a great match from what I heard. Got a lot of great reviews.
Man, it's hard to be catching Ring of Honor these days, man. I don't know what channel they be coming on.
Athena's like on a brand that's like not really getting a lot of attention, and she's like putting in her best work. But even I haven't seen any of this stuff yet.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, I never really got into Ring of Honor like that because I remember like it was around in the 2000s, and I guess it filled the void of ECW, like the same way TNA filled the void of WCW.
It had that old, like that wrestling event and like the gymnasium feel to it in a way. And also like the fact, it's kind of hard to catch it on TV because you didn't know when and where it came on. And yeah, so it did, you're right, it had that feel to it. But I think every fan were very knowledgeable about the wrestlers because everybody knew about CM Punk, Samoa Joe, and I remember Christopher Daniels, AJ Styles was in Ring of Honor. So like, yeah, there was like a lot of the most of the top guys that are big now, that's where they started from, was Ring of Honor.
Yeah, they sunk their teeth in that place, and yeah, they got a lot of notoriety. And yeah, that was like more for like the art of wrestling. Like yeah, that Ring of Honor was like kind of the
Oh,
wrestling, the pure wrestling company.
oh hell yeah. Oh hell yes. Oh, not no doubt. Without question, that artwork was just phenomenal.
Yeah, but in any event, another AEW news: the Elite of Kenny Omega, Hangman Adam Page, and the Young Bucks have all re-signed multi-year deals with AEW, so they are not going anywhere.
Nope. That's good for them.
Yeah, I guess yeah, it's a good fit for them. They're doing their thing there. A lot of them are executives there anyway. So yeah, even with the whole CM Punk thing going down, they are sticking around.
That's good.
And they're on opposite shows. They'll probably only see each other like once in a blue moon. So I guess it all works out.
Okay. But that's good though. You're able to, keep the talent that is really meaningful to like your core talent. That's good.
Yeah, definitely. If they lost those dudes, that would be a major loss regardless. But
But oh my god, it would. Wow.
the first pictures actually came out of the Von Erich biopic a couple days ago, and I cannot wait for that. That shit is gonna be some good cinema, bro.
Oh yeah, I saw some photos. It looks good. I like it. I've seen some photos.
Yeah, that dude Jeremy Allen White from that show The Bear. Have you heard of that show The Bear?
Yeah, yes, bro. I've wanted to watch that show. I'm gonna get started on it because me and my girlfriend been talking about that show a lot, and yeah, we want to watch that show. It's already through the second season right now, but yeah, I heard a lot of good things about that show.
Yeah, the dude who plays the main character, Jeremy Allen White, he was also on that show Shameless. That show Shameless I always told you about. He's gonna play Kerry Von Erich, yeah.
Interesting, interesting.
And Zach Efron's playing Kevin Von Erich.
Right, interesting.
Yeah, the Von Erichs is definitely one of the saddest stories in the history of wrestling. It's definitely tragic, but damn, were those dudes popular in their prime. Those dudes were
Wow,
fucking rock stars
crazy.
and heartthrobs. Like before the Hardys, before the Rockers, before the fucking Rock and Roll Express, the Von Erichs were like those dudes that all the girls were like in love with.
Mm. Let's see, big wrestling family.
Yeah, shit was real, man, and very influential too. That world class territory was very influential for wrestling, with in the sense that it was actually the first wrestling promotion that actually had their wrestlers come out to theme music.
Wow.
Yeah, did you ever watch that documentary about the world class promotion that WWE came out with all those years ago?
No, 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 I didn't.
It's good. It's sad as fuck because of all the people who die, but it's good. It's a good
Right.
documentary. Yeah, the Von Erichs were hot, bro. In that early 80s period in Texas, yo, they were fucking on fire. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that movie. It comes out December 22nd.
Okay.
Yeah, but that shit with Carry Out Von Erich, like the shit that happened with him is gonna be hard to watch. I know that shit is gonna really hit me hard.
Damn. I wonder if one day, I don't know how long, maybe one day they'll maybe make a movie about Eddie Guerrero.
That would be dope too. I would love that. That would be dope.
Hmm.
It's crazy. Also, with getting back to LA Knight real fast. You know, LA Knight recently surpassed Roman in merchandise sales.
He did. I heard he was doing very well, but I did not know he surpassed Roman. That's crazy. Oh,
Yeah,
that's how I'm telling you, man. They cannot drop the ball with this one. I don't know what WWE is thinking right now, man. They should have just, you know, had him win that qualifying match for the U.S. title, have him face Austin Theory, but they didn't do that. But look, let's start back all over again, have him win the Battle Royal, and just push forward after that. Though, as far as merchandise, right? They've been doing very good in merchandise sales. I think just for the whole business period, I've been reading about some certain things about attendance, viewerships, merchandise. They've been doing very well this year in all aspects.
yeah. They even mentioned it on First Take yesterday. Molly mentioned that. Yeah, they're doing like record business right now. They're killing it.
Very well. It's crazy. I do. Have you seen Cody Rhodes' new T-shirt?
I don't think I did I don't think I remember it by heart, but I did watch his documentary yesterday.
Okay, yeah, he came out with a new T-shirt. he wore it on Monday though, but I posted it on my Twitter, on our Twitter page, and I even posted on the Instagram page. It's dope. I love it. I was like, damn, I will buy that shirt.
Yeah, but with the merchandise LA Knight is selling and the fact that he's getting all these crazy ass reactions everywhere he goes, every single week he gets one of the best reactions of the night.
I think it's him along with Cody Rhodes. I think they have the best reactions. Cody Rhodes get a good reaction because of his theme song. I've never heard anything like that. I'm just amazed. I love his entrance more. I love the fact how fans sing along to the song when he comes out. I love it. It gets me fired up when I hear it. And of course, you have LA Knight. So those are like the top two as of right now. We're like, man, they just get a good reaction every time they come out to the ring. Every single time.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying like they don't have to put the title on him or any title on him really per se, but they need to take advantage of how hot he is right now. They cannot fuck this up. Do not fuck this up. They still have time. They still have time.
Look. I don't know what terms, what plans that you hope that he will have in the future, though. But if you're gonna start off on the right way, Kurt, you need to maybe just put a title on him, put the U.S. title on. That would be great for starters.
Yeah, that'd be great. I don't mind that at all. He could definitely be the U.S. champion at least. He could at least be the U.S. champion. He could at very at
Yes,
least be that.
yes, please, please. I'm getting tired of the Austin Theory thing, man. I'm oh my god, my face turns blue every time I talk about it, about how lackluster it's been, dude.
Yeah, but I think the reason why they put the Battle Royal on SummerSlam is because of LA Knight. I think that's a big reason why they added this to the show. And unfortunately, Becky and Trish had to pay the price for it by being cut off. So that's why I have a feeling they're going to do something with him in the Battle Royal. There has to be something that's going to
Let's
be like
hope.
done to
Let's
progress
hope.
his story and progress what maybe whatever feud comes out of it. So yeah, they're definitely doing something with him major in the Battle Royal for sure.
Yeah, let's hope.
But I was hearing apparently that he has like a reputation for like being kind of like somebody who rubs the people in charge the wrong way.
I heard he has a little bit of a well, I've been hearing he has been having a little bit of a bad attitude backstage from what I've been reading.
There were stories coming out about that last year when he was doing that Max Dupree bullshit, and maybe there was like maybe Vince leaking out those stories because maybe he spoke out about how bad the story was and he didn't like it. If there's any maybe truth to those stories, and who knows, maybe that might be the reason why he's not, being pushed as far as we want him to be pushed.
Right.
So who knows? It could be anything, but hopefully it's not that, and hopefully he actually, gets pushed to his full potential. Yeah, but I did watch the Cody documentary yesterday, and yeah, it was some very heavy shit, man.
Mm.
And it's narrated by Stephen Amell.
Who is that?
That dude from that show, The Flash, the dude who he had the tag match with at SummerSlam all those years ago, where it was Cody when he was Stardust and Wade Barrett against that Stephen Amell guy and Neville. It was at 2015 SummerSlam.
Holy crap! Wow, that long ago.
Yeah, him and that dude are really close, and that's actually why they did the match in the first place. And yeah, he narrated the documentary.
Okay.
Yeah, they talk about Cody's childhood, how he grew up the son of Dusty, and how Dusty was his hero. He looked up to him. He even talked about being at WrestleMania 6.
He was at WrestleMania 6.
Yeah, because Dusty wrestled on WrestleMania 6, so yeah, Dusty brought him there.
Oh,
I think there's a picture of him backstage. I think I saw once with I think maybe DiBiase or Macho Man or somebody.
that's interesting. I never knew that.
Yeah, crazy. For as big of a legend as Dusty Rhodes was, that was the only WrestleMania he ever wrestled on.
Yeah, and that mixed tag match.
Yeah, in which unfortunately all the members of that match are no longer here,
Mm-hmm.
including Elizabeth, who was at ringside.
Right.
And then, yeah, he talks about growing up as Dusty's son. He gets into when he was 8 years old, he sees the match where he didn't win the title from Superstar Billy Graham, where he held the belt up. That famous picture with Dusty holding up the belt, but he didn't win the title, and he was he kind of told his dad in the sense so you weren't the champion like Hulk Hogan was.
What?
But then Dusty told him the rules of how wrestling works about how I'm sorry, you can only win the title on pinfall or DQ, and since he didn't win, by getting a pinfall, that he didn't win the belt. So then, like, yeah, he said like from that point on, that was his goal to eventually become the WWE champion, and he wanted to eventually give it to his dad and say, "Now nobody can take it away from you."
Man, you see what I mean? Why we're all upset that Cody lost at WrestleMania this year? Because it was like, dude, this is for his dad. You know what I mean? You felt that, but then when you lost, we're just like, what the hell was this? You know?
Yeah, but we'll get into that a little later. But yeah, they talk about like how he became an amateur wrestler when he was in high school,
Yeah, I saw a photo of that.
and how like his dad was so famous, like his dad would like sit like way in the back so like he wouldn't draw any attention to himself.
Hmm.
And like he ended up being successful in that in high school. Even Xavier Woods was like one of his rivals back then too.
Oh,
Yeah, they interviewed Xavier Woods for it, and he was talking about how like he wanted to wrestle Cody and say like that he beat Dusty Rhodes' son in a wrestling match.
oh, wow.
It's crazy. And then yeah, he ends up moving to Hollywood with his sister to like pursue acting. But after a year or so, like it's not working out, and like it's not really panning out well. So then he ends up moving back to Atlanta, like maybe like a year or so later.
Hmm.
And then he tells his dad like when he gets back, like yo, I want to be a wrestler. I want to actually pursue this. And then Dusty basically said, if you're going to pursue this, you're going to be great at it. You're going to be the best at it.
Yeah, that's a good thing to hear.
Yeah, so he ended up being in FCW because Dusty had just came back to WWE as like on the creative team. So I guess he had some pulls, so he got Cody into FCW apparently, as far as I know.
FCW, yeah. It's crazy. I heard about that place in Florida. I believe, I think Roman Reigns started in there too. A lot of most of the top guys that, or some of the top guys you see now, or even guys from about 10 years ago, they started from there. They started in Florida. That was before they had the developmental center in Orlando, I believe.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, like late 2000s, early 2010s. Yeah, that's what it was. He was there for a while. He even mentioned a few times, like, remember that promo a few months ago with Paul Heyman, how he mentioned how like there was one point where like Dusty like fell on hard times money wise, and like he would like do car commercials just so he could keep the car, and how like yeah they were like really struggling financially.
Yeah.
It got so bad at one point that their electricity went out one night and it wasn't even raining, and then once they noticed that, they're like, yeah, we know what's up, we know what happened.
Wow.
That's how bad it got, bro. They could barely keep the lights on.
Crazy.
Yeah, but eventually, I guess they bounced back. Like when I guess Dusty came to work for WWE, it seemed like it was doing better there. And then he had to give this speech for Dusty when he got inducted into the Hall of Fame. And they were so impressed by his speech, like the higher ups, Vince specifically, that that's what got him called up to the main roster.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah, they were so impressed by his induction speech for Dusty that yeah, that's what got him called up to the main roster. But he knew he wasn't ready at the time, and he knew he was fucked after that speech because he was like, yeah, they're probably gonna want to call me up, and then he ended up being right. But then he knew he had to get ready. Like even though he wasn't ready, he knew he had to get ready.
Wow. I remember when he made his debut, and I remember they did the whole legacy faction with Orton and Ted DiBiase Jr. And speaking of, I'm not trying to get off of the track or anything like that, but yeah, Ted DiBiase's son, yeah, he's just not doing so well right now in life. Yeah, I think he got in some legal trouble recently, but that's
I
a,
heard about that. Yeah,
yeah, we say that for a different time. But yeah, I remember that faction legacy. It's back in '09. But it was no, it was funny how that no, actually because before that, Cody came in like 2007, and then I remember Orton had did the whole Legend Killer thing, and that's when Cody came in, and then I remember that in about I say a couple years later, that's when they formed Legacy. So
yeah. Cody first came in '07. He was kind of like just a regular like good guy on the just like a regular baby face,
black
and
hair,
yeah, they weren't doing much with him at first, and then they were using him during like Randy Orton's feud with Dusty at the time. I remember they wrestled at like Great
yeah,
American Bash that year, and yeah, that's like around the time Cody debuted. Was like yeah, during that time.
yep.
And then I think he like briefly had a tag team with Hardcore Holly. They were like the tag champions for a while.
Yes. I remember that. Yeah, they were tag team champions for a moment. Yeah, I remember that.
They didn't talk about that on the documentary for some reason.
Hmm.
And then I think eventually he turned on Hardcore Holly to join forces with Ted DiBiase Jr. And then they became the tag team champions. And then after that, they started to form Legacy with Randy Orton.
Right, right.
And they were pretty much together for all of like 2009, like specifically during Randy Orton's feud with Triple H, like the one that went into WrestleMania 25.
Mm-hmm. I remember that later that year, Cody and Ted, they feuded with DX. Like kind of like the middle of the year. I remember that.
Yeah, they had the match at SummerSlam. That was like Sean's first match since like the match at Takeover Mania. Yeah, it was like the co-main event of SummerSlam that year.
I remember they had another one at the following pay-per-view, and then I remember they had their payoff at Hell in a Cell,
which was a good match actually from the highlights I saw.
Yeah, I heard.
Then Legacy ends up splitting up. Eventually, they split up Legacy, and then they end up doing like the dashing Cody Rhodes gimmick with him.
Yeah, I remember that. And after that, then they did that whole segment where like, oh, Rey Mysterio damaged his face and he's wearing the mask. I remember. Yeah, wow.
Yeah, that's all that. He ended up actually beating Rey at WrestleMania that year too in Atlanta, his hometown, home state.
Yeah, I remember that.
Then he had the run with the Intercontinental title, and he was actually the one that brought back the old school IC title design. He was the one who brought it back.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Good shit. That's why you know he's a real fan. He's a real fan.
He knows the business, of course.
Damn right he does.
If you're second generation superstar, not only that, your brother Dustin Rhodes is in the business as well.
Who's a great talent as well, who does not get enough credit actually.
True.
Dustin Rhodes is a stud. He's actually retiring this year also, by the way.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
That's good for him.
Yeah, but that's funny. Yeah, Cody would like watch a lot of his dad stuff when he was a kid, and he was like just like, amazed by him. Like he was like, so impressed and like just so proud. He's like saying, that's so cool that my dad does that.
Nice.
Yeah, he has the IC title run. They didn't talk about his team with Damian Sandow for some reason either. Yeah, they didn't talk about that.
Do I remember that?
Team World Scholars, they were together for like a year, and then at the Money in the Bank ladder match, like Cody was about to win, and then Sandow like cost him the match, and Sandow ended up getting the briefcase.
Wait, that was 2013?
Yeah, 2013. I heard Cody was actually supposed to win that match, but they decided to go with Sandow instead, and we know how that turned out.
Yeah, that was crazy. And yeah, a different story. Damn.
Yeah, and then they talk about like, how he first met Brandy, how like he told the first time he met Brandy, he was like trying to flirt with her by like telling her like her hair didn't look right.
Oh, wow.
Cody told Brandy like, yo, your hair looks kind of messed up. You should go fix it. You shouldn't have your hair looking like that. And then Brandy was kind of like panicking about it, and she went to Beth Phoenix, who was there also. And Beth Phoenix says like, no, you're fine. That's just Cody's way of flirting with you.
Wow.
And then they started dating. One thing led to another. Then they ended up getting married. That's actually around the time when they did that angle where Cody got fired after the match with Randy Orton by the Authority.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that storyline, right?
Yeah.
And that was basically to write him off TV because he was getting married to Brandy. And then right after he came back, they had that great match at Battleground with the Shield when they won their jobs back.
Yeah, that was amazing.
That was like one of the only times like the three of them were like together, like really on screen. Him, Dustin, and Dusty.
Yeah, that was like, honestly, like prior to all of this, I think that's has to be his number one best moment.
Yeah, as the Cody Rhodes character and his first WWE run, yeah, I'll give it that. His first WWE run. Mm-hmm. And yeah, they ended up winning the tag titles like a week later from the Shield. And they were having some good ass matches during that time.
They did. They really did.
Yeah, they had a nice run with the tag titles actually. I enjoyed their tag when they were the tag champions during that late 2013 period.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, they started the whole Stardust character.
That was so weird. I don't know why. I don't know what was the whole reason behind doing that. I thought that was weird to me. It was weird.
Look. He was good at playing the character. He pulled it off well. He killed it personally.
But that just wasn't him though.
It's just that that kind of character has a shelf life. That kind of character is not going to get past a certain point.
No, it's not.
And just more than anything, that kind of character is like one that only really works temporarily.
Right. There is no like long term longevity with that type of character. That's why I was saying kind of like that just didn't really work out for him. So
Yeah, he did that shit for 2 years, bro. He did that shit for 2 years.
crazy.
And he even admitted himself, like he feels bad for Brandy for like having to be around him during that period because he was just miserable at that time.
Wow.
And also his dad would even tell him like, yo, you should quit. Like during that period, he should like tell him like, yo, you should quit and go somewhere else.
And he did.
Well, we'll get into that in a few, but also Cody even admitted that he resented the fact that Dusty had like, his kids he would call in NXT, like all the people who were coming up there in that period, like, the Sami Zayns, the Nevilles, the Kevin Owens, the also Seth Rollins and Roman. He like resented the fact that like, Dusty was grooming those kids and they were having like, those great kick-ass matches there and like they were like, building a lot of momentum, building a lot of steam, and then here he was doing the Stardust character, and that shit wasn't going anywhere.
Right.
Yeah, so he resented that a lot. He admitted, and then they get into like when Dusty eventually passed away. They said he kind of been sick for a while, like he had like some kind of illness in his stomach, and then he ended up passing out at the house, and they took him to the hospital. And it just came down to the point where like even if they kept him alive, like he wasn't gonna really have any quality of life.
Oh man, that was sad when he passed away, dude. That was pretty much when the time like when he decided like you need to take some time off. Correct.
Yeah, he did. I remember that day when Dusty died, actually, and yeah, I couldn't believe it. I was like, fuck, man, Dusty's dead. Damn. And it got a lot of attention. It got a lot of mainstream attention.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, his death was definitely well publicized, and yeah, it was a major loss, man. It was a major loss, and you could just feel it throughout the company. Like I heard Triple H took it very hard. Obviously, all the people in NXT took it very hard. Yeah, they had like those the 10 bell salute. I remember at Money in the Bank that Sunday. Yeah, that shit was very emotional. And they had another one in NXT the following Wednesday, and I didn't see that one live, but that one looked even more emotional.
Just anybody that you've grown up and you've seen and they pass away, just anything that's just it's very like this gut wrenching.
Yeah, that was just a weird summer wrestling wise with Dusty dying and then the Hogan scandal with the N word and then Roddy Piper dying. Yeah, it was just a weird ass summer.
Yeah.
It bummed me out when he died, and yeah, Cody took time off, and then when he came back, still as a Stardust character. He said he wasn't ready to come back as like regular Cody Rhodes yet. He needed time, and then when he was eventually ready to, he even mentioned one time where he went up to a writer to like talk to a writer, and the writer just put his hand up as if like he was busy typing something, and then he leans in at the writer's like laptop and notices that the laptop isn't even on.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he even went up to Triple H afterwards and said, "I want to punch that writer in the face right now."
Wow.
And he said apparently that writer still works for the company now.
Are you still? Are you serious?
Yeah, he said that's when he knew he had to get out. Like that was the point where he's like, "Yo, I can't do this anymore."
Wow.
Then he ended up getting his release from WWE, and then he ended up going on the Indies and like really reinventing himself, like where he really learned how to be a main eventer and be in the closing match and like draw people to come and see him. Yeah, like he really reinvented himself big time during that like 3 year period. Like even before AEW started, he was building a lot of momentum, bro. I remember it, bro. I remember it like it was yesterday. He was everywhere. And then him and the Young Bucks were the catalyst for that All In show, the very first All In show in Chicago in 2018. This was like the first real test to see if like a show outside of WWE could draw over 10,000 people, and it succeeded. It succeeded. And that's what led to him and everyone else starting AEW, and then AEW becoming the rival promotion. He had the run there he had for a few years. He had a lot of good feuds, specifically the one with MJF.
Hmm.
But then after a while, fans were starting to like kind of boo him and kind of turn on him a little bit. In a way, I guess maybe the fans like wanted him to turn heel, but he never did, and that made them maybe not like him even more. And then he talks about how he eventually left, how like Bruce Pritchard called him after he like heard stories that his contract was coming up in AEW. He called him personally and asked him, and then Cody admitted to him yes, and then that's kind of like where the discussion started. And then all of a sudden, right after that, it came out that Cody and Brandy were leaving AEW.
Mm. You see, I remember when I heard about that, I was, I think, Not just me, but I think the whole wrestling world was shocked. Whether if you're a WWE fan or AEW fan or just both, you're just shocked to hear that because this is the thing that you created and you're leaving. So I was shocked to hear that. I was like, wow, he's actually leaving. I was like, but you started this whole thing, and I was confused about it. But look, I honored his decision. Do what you want to do, but at the same time, end of the day, I was shocked.
Yeah, I was surprised too. I kind of saw it coming because I knew that his contract was expiring, and he was even talking in his promos for weeks that he was working without a contract. So I'm like, yeah, something's got to be up. And then when that story came out, I'm like, fuck, he really left. Fuck, I
Yeah,
can't believe it. Because he was one of the
yeah,
founding fathers of the company. Like he was one of the dudes you like never thought would leave, and he would like
right.
always call them out. Like he would always call them out. Like I remember that Double or Nothing show, that first one, he like took the sledgehammer and destroyed the Triple H throne.
Mm,
Yes, like you
yep.
never really thought he would go back considering all that. And then all
Right.
of a sudden he leaves AEW. He even admitted though that he can't and he won't, say the exact reason why he left, but he would say that he left because of a personal reason and that he knew he had other goals and other things he wanted to accomplish. And he knew he wouldn't be able to do that unless he went back to WWE.
Right.
And then it gets into like him coming back for that match at WrestleMania with Rollins, how they kind of kept it a secret and like Kevin Owens didn't even know until like the afternoon of the show that it was actually Cody coming back because he texted Cody to see where he was, and then Cody responded saying, "Oh, I'm on the bus outside." And it's crazy. Vince even flew to his house to like try to get him back. How many people has Vince ever done that for? Like main guys,
I've never heard anything like that before.
because they'll fly to Vince's house, but yeah, you'll never hear Vince actually flying to go see them at their own house.
Right, right, right. That's crazy.
Yeah, so he hid in the bus and like they try to keep his return as much of a secret as they could. And yeah, that return he had that night was crazy. That return was like one of the most memorable ones in recent, probably in WrestleMania history. I think.
Oh, absolutely. Kidding me?
I think I might have topped the Hardys' return from WrestleMania 33.
How?
Look, I was there at WrestleMania when the Hardys came back, and I got a great reaction. It was amazing. And it was good to see them back. But with Cody, it was kind of like the things where it was kind of a situation like where he literally just left AEW, a company that he helped start, and he's coming back at the last city where he appeared at WrestleMania before he left the company. And like there was all that speculation, all those rumors, and then like for him to get the reaction he did, and also the match he had afterwards in general, it's like, bro, holy shit,
I,
what a return!
I understand though, but you got to remember the thing. It was kind of like that. What killed it for me just a little bit was the rumors because you're kind of like, you know what I mean? Versus the Hardys, that was like I didn't hear nothing.
I did. I was hearing shit the whole week.
Well, I don't know why I've told you this before years ago. I don't know why you do that to yourself.
I don't do it to myself. These things just come up.
You can't. You'll avoid them. I avoid them. I even told you. Like I remember years ago, I told you about. Don't tell me anything.
And bro, it was speculated throughout the whole weekend. I was in town that whole weekend. People were talking about it left and right. Certain rumors, some certain speculation is just unavoidable. Like with the Cody situation being one example, you just cannot avoid that kind of speculation. And yeah, you don't know for sure until it happens, but
I understand that you were there, right? But for me, I mean, if I'm not in a wrestling town, especially during this time, like, dude, I'm still have this old school mindset. Like, stay off my phone. Don't go on my phone. None of that crap. Tune it off. If this was 30 years ago, it would have been a non-issue. Even I think Taker one time had talked about how it's unfair how writers and everybody we put our work in to do everything, but yet all this stuff just spills out like everywhere, like a can of worms, and everybody knows about it.
I mean, it's no different than trade speculations in the NBA.
That's different.
I guess in a way it is different, but it's also not different in the sense that it's shit that
That's
comes out and it gets leaked out. And what the fuck do you expect
it's
reporters to do?
it's different. Like if I hear like a trade rumor, but I'm watching wrestling, you got to remember it's like entertainment. So if I don't want to hear about a return. Oh, somebody's got, like I want to have that surprise feeling to it. That's different from sports because sports is like, okay, all right, well, somebody got traded. I'm like, okay, whatever. You know what I mean?
Well, regardless if you knew he was coming back or not, or whether or not the surprise was spoiled, it was still a great moment when he came out that night. And also,
Yeah, it was a great moment.
his dad, as much of a legend as his dad was, never got that out of WrestleMania. Yeah, like that one WrestleMania 6, that was his only WrestleMania appearance.
Right.
And yeah, Cody got to have that. He got to have that grand entrance. He got to have that great match with Rollins, and he ended up winning. And yeah, it was a great way for him to return.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fitting because that was the place where he was at WrestleMania the last time in 2016, and it
Right.
all came full circle.
Mm-hmm.
And they get into like the torn pec incident where he like tore just like working out, and he kind of tried to make it seem like it wasn't so bad and that it couldn't be any hurt any worse than it already was. And like everybody was like, "Yo, you can't, like, it's okay if you want to pull out. Like nobody's gonna hold it against you." But I even said it myself. Like he even admitted like he just came back to the company. He's in the main event of the pay per view. It's a Hell in a Cell match to blow off to the feud, and he's trying to prove himself. Like he doesn't have a choice. Like in his mentality, he does not have a choice.
Nope. The fact that he still went through it, just like, wow.
And then Corey Graves even said himself, like, he didn't see the actual scar on his chest until he took off his robe and everybody else saw it when the match started.
Yeah, that was. Oof. Oh boy.
Yeah, but that match ended up being one of the match of the year candidates. They both killed it, specifically him. And I even said myself after that match was over that there is no way this dude is not getting the title.
Right. I've said that too. We both said that last year, and I was like, watch him win the Royal Rumble next year. It didn't happen. And I watch him go to WrestleMania and win the title. But yeah,
Yeah,
see how.
and it sucked that he missed those 7 months because of the injury. And and it happened at the worst possible timing. But I just said myself like, yo, he's gonna be good once he comes back, and that also gave him time to spend at home with his like daughter because his daughter's still relatively young, and like he doesn't get as much time with her, being on the road and whatnot. So that did give him that time to be with her. But yeah, he definitely went through that struggle and like those mental battles of like being off the road and off your routine and like wondering if you're ever gonna come back or be the same when you come back. But he eventually got past it. He came back at the Royal Rumble, was number 30, ended up winning the thing, and all roads led to WrestleMania.
Man, really need more to say about that, man, because yeah, I was there and I really thought it was gonna happen, but
It was still a great match. I sometimes forget that it was a great match, but then that ending when he ends up losing, especially by the interference of Solo, it just really put a bad taste in your mouth. It just really fucking
it does.
put like a
It really
damper on
does.
the whole weekend. It really, yeah, put a damper on the whole weekend.
Yeah.
And yeah, just from watching this whole documentary, like it was the whole perfect story. And yeah, for it to end that way at WrestleMania, it's like, bro, like what the fuck?
Yep.
And I do maintain this documentary would have had a much happier ending, a much better ending had he won at WrestleMania. But
Well, yeah. We just gotta hope next year it'll be a different story.
hey, but regardless, I know it sucks that he didn't win, but at the end of the day, he still got to main event WrestleMania. He still got that.
Mm-hmm.
His dad never got
Yep.
that. His brother never got that. That's the biggest thing his family has
Yep.
ever done.
Right.
Yeah, like I said, it sucks he didn't win. It sucked to turn out the way it did in the end, but they can never take that shit away from him.
Never. Let's just hope and pray that next year he's gonna get that same opportunity, but only different outcome this time.
Yes, and we'll see what happens with his match with Brock Lesnar on Sunday. And you know what's crazy? After all this time, Brock Lesnar never opened up about why he attacked Cody in the first place that night after WrestleMania.
Yeah, see, that's wow. Yeah, that wow. Yeah, that really that hits me now. Thank you for bringing that up because yeah, that was never brought up ever. So weird how we had a feud going this long, and he had promos throughout this feud, and he never came out and gave the reason why he turned on him to begin with, which started the whole thing.
This feud has been missing some things. I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to say it's been bad, but it's been missing some things. Like for one, that the explanation of why Brock attacked Cody in the first place, and now coming up this weekend, there's like no special stipulation for the match, even though like it's the final one.
Right.
I do like the promo package they put together for it and the song they used. But yes, we'll see what happens this Saturday at SummerSlam. It's going to be a crazy ass night. One of my favorite shows of the year. I am fucking psyched for it. And yeah, it's going to be popping, bro. It is going to be popping.
It is. I can't wait.
And that Born to Be Wild song for theme song is a nice touch too.
That's the theme song? I never
Yeah,
even looked
Born
it
to Be
up.
Wild.
Oh, okay. I think that's the appropriate theme song to use since they're doing the whole, racing theme since they're in Detroit. So yeah.
Yeah, I guess Born to Be Wild sounds like a girl's OnlyFans page title or some shit.
Oh fuck! What? God.
I'm not hating though. I gotta go see those movies this week though. Ninja Turtles and Oppenheimer. I gotta go see both of those.
And you need to watch Sounds of Freedom.
That
Anybody,
too.
ladies and gentlemen, pointing it out right now. I'll be the first one to speak. If you have not watched the movie Sound of Freedom, watch that movie right now. Please give the opportunity, give the time to watch that movie. I'm not discrediting Barbie or Oppenheimer, but the movie Sound of Freedom will touch you. There's a very powerful message in that movie. I watched it a couple weeks ago. Loved it. My girlfriend loved it, and her cousin loved it. Watch the movie, please. That movie deserves the same respect and attention as Barbie and Oppenheimer. So please watch it.
I didn't see the Barbie movie, but I heard good things about it. But there was kind of like a lot of people complaining that like it made men look bad and made like men look weak.
I just heard that is really not like appropriate. Like if you're bringing a child to that movie, that's all I've been hearing.
Yeah, and honestly, the two main people I heard this complaint from, is Candace Owens, and you all know what I think of her, and also former WWE personality Charlie Caruso, or Charlie Analt now is her name.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, she's like on Fox News now, so she's like kind of like taking that stance now on a lot of these things. And she also put out that tweet last week after LeBron's son had the heart attack that like it was possibly because of the vaccine.
Yeah, that was. I don't know, man. I don't watch that stuff though, but I just hearing that is just there's really no need to be saying stuff like that. Period.
Yeah, even if you really think that, you should not say that shit in public. All right, but anyway, that's enough for tonight. Let's get in. Enjoy SummerSlam this weekend. It's going to be popping. It's going to be lit, and definitely continue WWE streak of great pay-per-views this year. And I cannot wait. So until next time, for John Randall, this is Kurt Cadet for another edition of the Clash of the Champions, and we'll see you guys next time. God bless.
Later.